Hello, and welcome back to Women Developing Brilliance, the spirit of business. I'm your host, Casey Rossi, and today we're going to be speaking about the number one thing to confidently increase your visibility now. So let's dive in. Actually, this question came from several members of my Women Developing Brilliance Facebook group. So Colleen, Christine, Renee, Kate, and Tracy, this is for you. And their question was, how can I become more visible and get my name out there? It's such a great question and one that most online business owners ask themselves often, if not on a daily basis. So the number one thing to confidently increase your visibility now, drum roll please, is to commit. It does begin with an intentional commitment to yourself, which in turn builds the KLT, the know, like, and trust factors, which really are building blocks for all marketers. So let's take a second and break that down just a little bit more. What, who, and why are you committed? These answers will help shape the content you'll be creating. For example, you may be an author coach committed to helping aspiring authors release their inner stories, helping women to leave a legacy. Doesn't that sound great? Or you may be a mindset coach who helps leaders go to their next level by dissolving old paradigms and limiting beliefs. So we've heard clarity is power over and over again, and this is no different. This isn't any further from that. And we also know that there is power in uncovering our identity. I love that term. I first heard of it from the Organifi founder, Drew Canole. So our why-identity. Why do you want to serve this group? How is it connected to your passion, your mission, your vision, or your core values? Now, in the example of the book coach, the why could be a deep connection to spirituality, and through writing, it gives people an opportunity to turn within and to truly know themselves. For the mindset coach example, the deeper why could be a passion to transform feelings of unworthiness because of a personal life experience. So tapping in a couple more layers will bring you to your compelling why, which will fuel you when, I'm not going to say if, but when the sea gets a little rocky on your journey, because we know that success is not linear. There's jigs and jags and ups and downs and peaks and valleys. So really tapping into your why will be that lifeblood or that fuel that you can hang on to when things get a little shaky. So next is, what do the people that you want to serve need to hear? What do they desire? Keep in mind, especially during these uncertain and tumultuous times, it could be emotional. They could really just want support. They could be afraid. They could want help with soothing their anxiety. Like, it may not be something that's logical, right? It may very much be from an emotional standpoint right now. So definitely look through the lens to be relevant of what's going on right now. What have people lost? Where did they have to pivot? Maybe not by choice. What are their concerns? What are their desires? Maybe they used to have long-term goals, but because things are kind of on the unclear side on a global level, maybe short-term is really all the bandwidth that they can hold on to right now and that they can handle. So definitely look at it through the current lens. And then once you get clear on the who, what, and why you are personally committed, the how is all that's left in this. How will you show up? Before you even draft one page of your content, managing, or more like elevating, your energy and enthusiasm is key. It is numero uno, my friends. People gravitate towards your energy field and high vibration. We actually must amp up our state before we create. In fact, if you want to make a Post-it note of that, I highly recommend it. So amp up your state before you create. And honestly, the rest will flow with ease. So it's a very personal thing, and you may already know exactly what that is for you to get in a great state. Now, maybe that's your favorite cup of tea and meditation. Maybe that brings you zen and you feel centered and grounded, and from that place you can share. Or maybe it's your favorite dance jam playlist, and for you, moving your body and feeling the blood flow and the circulation and feeling the high vibes of the tunes gets you totally ready to knock it out of the ballpark. Or perhaps tuning into Abraham Hicks on YouTube and really kind of elevating your consciousness and thinking of things on more of a global spiritual level is what really gets you in a state of mind to show up at your very, very best. So if it's the last one, you have to check out It's a Good Morning. My dear friend Scott texted me the URL about a month ago, and now I practically listen to that on a daily basis. It's so good. I will pop the link in the show notes so you can tune in, tap in, and get turned on by your life, your business, and your message. All right, so let's go back to the original question. How do I increase my visibility? Now that you've got the basics down, the who, the what, the why you're committed, and you also know that managing your energy is really step one of the how, you'll want to then investigate where your ideal clients are hanging out, because there is no sense in being visible everywhere. We want to be strategic and concentrate our marketing efforts. So this may require a little sleuthing. There's no cookie cutter formula to find where your prospects hang out. It's different for every business really, and who you want to connect with and what their time is like. So if you're serving leaders, most likely they're not spending time on Facebook. So LinkedIn may be a great outlet for you to investigate. And you can always take some polls, and I'll give you a few other tips along the way, but we really want to make sure we know where our ideal clients are hanging out. And that is just going to be learning by doing. So if you're getting stuck here in the mind thinking, I don't even know where my clients are hanging out, then you may just have to start from scratch and just start taking action. And you're going to get a feeling, if you start, investigating in each of the different social media channels, and you start looking at some of the threads and you start engaging with some of those people on the threads, you're going to intuitively get a feeling if those are your people, if they're at the level that you want to serve, if they're at the commitment or financial level that you want to attract into your realm. So just be patient with yourself and just kind of be curious. Make it a game. Make it like you have your detective hat on and you're really curious about where your ideal clients, where your divine right clients are just waiting to connect with you. So this also could be done through a social media poll, or just even cruising around similar Facebook groups. There's a little search feature in Facebook groups where you could put maybe some of your keywords or your job title in there, and Facebook will actually organize it all for you and bring up the most relevant posts and threads that match those keywords. So that's a great way to save some time. And really, on a quick scan, you can judge by even the topics if it's going to be a good match for you. So once you determine that, I say go all in, a deeper, not wider approach, and master that social media channel of choice. So for example, say you find out that Instagram is the channel that your potential clients are engaging in the most. I recommend learning this app up and down. Use Reels, Stories, Carousel posts, and the newest feature, Grids. So they have a brand new feature, which is super cool, how you can organize all of your content in one tidy area and kind of step through your member or viewer in the way that you want them to take in your content. So that's pretty exciting. So back to mastering Instagram, you can conduct Instagram interviews, you can connect via DMs, you can engage on your feed as well as others, which I highly recommend. Just having a presence isn't enough. It's about building connection, and really putting down more than like you rock or a heart, but like truly engaging and digging deep and having meaningful conversations on the feeds. I also recommend scheduling your lives and planning out your editorial calendar. And remember, this is all just in one channel. So it sounds like a lot, but it's a heck of a lot more overwhelming thinking that you need to be on Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and all the things, where if we do that approach, we're really just spattering paint against the wall and hoping for something to stick, hoping for something to resonate with people. But if you've done your market research and you really go deep on a channel, this is going to increase your visibility. You are going to have a bigger impact, and people are going to start to see you as the expert that you are when you are mastering a channel and going all in. So one example of this one, Kat Karoy on Instagram, it really does this expertly. She focuses mainly on Instagram. She teaches Instagram, and she is the first. She's actually who I learned the guides feature from first. She's the first one to do mini 1-minute masterclasses on her feed. She's always giving relevant information. I really trust that she knows the ins and outs of this channel. So have a look at Kat Karoy so you can see how someone who is going deep, not wide, is executing, and her numbers show it. She has almost 150,000 followers, and she has an absolutely beautiful, consistent aesthetic. So take a peek at that. So remember, consistency is key, and to stay on topic. So if someone lands on your page, so the last 9 posts, for example, your grid, you want them to clearly represent who you are and how you help, but you also want to do a dash of your behind the scenes to help grow your personal brand. So I know some of my most engaging Instagram posts are typically a selfie or something that is like a behind the scenes, because they're really curious about who you are. We do business with people and we want to know about people. So don't be afraid to let your guard down a little bit and make sure you have a dash of that. But overall, if Instagram's going to be the space that you're going to go all in on, you just want to do a general overview when you're looking at your strategy. Do they know how you can help them? Because sometimes, and I'm even, someone that falls prey to this, like we can just sometimes get into the routine of our posting, and then somehow we can be like several degrees off of our original strategy. So I would say, especially in the beginning, to really cultivate that editorial calendar, be super clear about your messaging pillars. And what I mean by that are, what are the things that you're going to be talking about on a consistent basis? Some people talk about doing 5 pillars, and I've actually heard other people talk about doing even 9 or 12. So they're very, very clear about the main things that they talk about, and they talk about them repetitively. So immediately when someone goes to think about, oh, I have this problem to solve. Oh, I remember that so-and-so helps with, and then fill in the blank. And so when we're all over the board, it's very possible and easy to dilute our message to the point where people really don't know who we are and how we help. They may have a good feeling about you. They may like some of your visuals, but they're not really sure how they can hire you. And one of the things when we think about increasing our visibility is, how can this visibility bring me more clients, bring me more income, increase my message and impact? So we're not really just doing this for the fun of it, because we're entrepreneurs. We do have a strategy, and we want a sustainable business that brings in a consistent flow of income. This is part of the why we are staying and being focused and mindful about increasing our visibility. So that's something to really keep in mind, no matter which channel you choose to go deep on, is be super clear about your messaging pillars. And don't be afraid of being repetitive, because there is so much information online that people really need to understand your brand, what you stand for, and how you can help them solve their problem. And it's okay if you're a little bit repetitive. And if you're building out, 5 pillars or 12 pillars, there are so many variations that you can talk about what you do and how you help, that it's really not going to feel repetitive to your audience. It will just be on brand, and topic specific, so you come top of mind when they're thinking about someone in your field or industry. You are going to come to the top of the list when they need to reach out or recommend you. All right, so as far as additional exposure, so there are several things that you can do. You are literally only limited by your imagination, but here's a list of 8 ways to increase your visibility now. So you can guest blog. That's a really popular way because this is taking advantage of getting in front of someone else's audience. And with blogs, it's really cool because they're always living there on the person's website. So over time, the SEO just kind of builds, and especially when there's traffic and backlinks, it's a great way for you to have this consistent exposure and be visible in front of that person's audience. So it's a really easy way to again, go deeper, not wider. So just do a thin sliver of what you're talking about, because again, with the competition increasing in pretty much all avenues, especially with COVID and people going into business and new startups coming up because maybe of a loss of a job, we have to be so mindful that we are going to be specialists in our field versus a generalist. So keep that in mind when you're guest blogging, that you're just doing a thin sliver in your field so it really, really stands out. Another opportunity is to be a podcast guest. So I have this Women Developing Brilliance podcast. I have interviewed over 100 women entrepreneurs, and it's been such a fabulous opportunity. To me, it's been my give back. I don't charge for guests to be on the show. And so it's a fabulous opportunity for these women to have a platform, get to talk for 30 or 40 minutes about who they are and who they help, and give some really valuable tips so people actually get an experience of their energy, an experience of their knowledge and message. And in the show notes, it links right to that guest. So it's a fabulous way for you to connect, get in front of potentially thousands of people, because most of the time our podcasts are syndicated or linked up with other pod players. So it's not just going on Apple iTunes, it's going on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and all the top pod players. So you have an opportunity to have a greater reach and increase your visibility very fast by podcast guesting. You can also start your own podcast. So you get to control the story. Maybe you want to have interviews on your show as a way to give back, connect, and be with other like-minded people in complementary industries. Because even from that standpoint, when that person shares your information, like I've been able to interview international superstars that have best-selling books, that have client rosters that are A-lists. And so for me, it's actually a win-win, because yes, I'm giving back and giving them my platform, but also it's an amazing way for me to increase my visibility, because when each of those guests share their interview, which they're really excited to do, that's why they're doing it, then I'm also in front of their list. And so it's really a win-win. You can also write for magazines. So remember my author coach example earlier on? Well, that person is both a client and a mentor of mine. I just completed her course on how to write for magazines, and I'm actually now off to the races pitching editors. So it's a fabulous way, again, to get in front of other people's audiences and highlight your expertise. So I will link to her course in the show notes so you can have a look for yourself. Another really popular way to increase your visibility is to collaborate with someone in a complementary industry. So for example, maybe you are a vegan blogger. A perfect complement to collab with someone would be a yoga instructor. So maybe you do a 3-day virtual retreat, or maybe you'd put together a masterclass of sorts where you can both get in front of each other's audiences and list build at the same time. Beautiful way to have a win-win, increase of visibility for both parties. The other thing is you can be a speaker at a summit. So you probably are very used to seeing these. It's getting even more popular as we are kind of working from home and even showing up online even more after 2020. So being a speaker on a summit is a really great way to boost your list super fast. And again, get in front of people that maybe you wouldn't have had an opportunity to get in front of and increase your visibility fast. Another simple thing, it takes a little time and it takes a little motivation. I've gone back and forth on this one. Sometimes I really enjoy it and sometimes it feels like a waste of time, but you can see and test the waters for yourself. But it's really adding daily value in Facebook groups. So when you can get in front of a Facebook group that has a collection of like-minded people, especially the ones that have a lot of engagement or a high number of people that, are really committed to showing up, or they have the confidence to do a Facebook Live when that's an opportunity in that Facebook group. It is a really great way, if you can be consistent about it, to get in there and start leaving value, engaging, having your warm personality show up on the threads, taking advantage of opportunities when they ask you to share your freebie or to go live or to put your Instagram handle in. So the thing I would say about that is, again, go deeper, not wider, and choose maybe 3 to 4 Facebook groups so you can stay consistent, so your visibility matters, and so you're not, joining 30 groups and feeling spent and burnt out and only contributing 1 or 2 times a week in each group. I'd rather see you pick 3 groups and take 15 minutes a day and actually commit to engaging in those 3 groups every single day or 3 days a week. You're really going to have a bigger impact with that strategy if you do it like that. Webinars are still popular, or online masterclasses. This is just an easy, low barrier entry, whether it's a free webinar or a $27 or $37 masterclass. It's a great way to increase your visibility. You can also share that, like if you have a biz bestie that you think could really be benefited from this online masterclass, feel free to share the link. So again, don't be afraid to have the ask and put little mini offers or free webinars together, because that's a really great way to have a platform, increase your visibility. With today's technology, it's something that, doesn't take a lot to organize. It can be super simple. So don't think that you need 4 or 5 different apps to put a webinar out, or a huge launch, or Facebook ads. You really don't. So you can do it as simple as you'd like, but the main thing is that's just one of the options that you can do to increase your visibility. So those are 8. My friends, there could be, 10x that. It truly is only as limited as your imagination. So if you desire to increase your visibility so that you fill your client roster and you increase your impact globally, it really just boils down to deciding. It's your decision and commitment that moves the desire from the "wouldn't that be nice if" column to "hell yeah, it's just like me," to be the woman that books speaking gigs, that grows her email list in her sleep, that shares her message with ease and gets published often. So whatever you desire, I just want you to know that it is within your reach. Otherwise, it wouldn't even enter your consciousness field. So you have everything within you to shine bright. I am cheering you all along the way. And until next time, my friends, breathe joy. Oh, P.S. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you head over to Apple iTunes and give it a rating and a review. And to continue the conversation, as always, please visit my Women Developing Brilliance Facebook group, where like-minded, soul-aligned leaders show up every day to connect. Take care.